Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Tuesday, June 3rd, and this is our regular MLB series preview show that we do with Troy West from allplayswin.com, and we take a look at upcoming series and pick out some series and matchups that we think could have some value, even though we don't yet know what the lines will be. Troy, thanks for being back with us.
Hey, thanks a lot, Peter. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a great baseball season for us. We knocked dead once again another Seattle pick as Felix Hernandez takes care of the New York Yankees 10-2. We've just been on fire covering this Seattle team, Pete. So very excited to talk about this weekend series and very much looking forward to closing out the NBA Finals and this baseball season.
Okay, sounds good. And first, tell us a little bit about what's been going on at allplayswin.com. You told me in another call that that you've had one of your best months ever in May, and that you actually got shut down by a few sports books.
We did, Pete. No, absolutely. We absolutely did. And it's just been an outstanding run for allplayswin.com. It's been a great run for myself, for our clients. Things are outstanding, Pete. We've had quite a run. I think 2 losing days in the entire month of May. It's been fantastic. So I encourage people to come take a look. Allplayswin.com, 24/7 customer service. I believe it's a breath of fresh air for sports services out there.
Last week, I had 15 sports books calling me, begging me to sign up with them. I guess that's not a great sign, is it?
You may have to refer me over to them and see if they'll take my action.
All right. Okay, let's talk about the weekend series coming up. Today is, again, Tuesday, June 3rd, and there's 3 series that I'm thinking about here. The first one, a little contrarian, and let's see what you have to say about it. It's Oakland at Baltimore, and we'll take a look at the totals. Now, Baltimore has actually been one of the biggest they've been the biggest under-trender at home in all of baseball this year. They're 8-14 over-under at home, 36.4%, but they are 18-14 over-under on the road, and I'm thinking that under-trend at home is a little bit, just due to variance and not very indicative or predictive of what we can expect in the future. Oakland is a 30-25 over/under on the year, so they've been a small under-trender. And Baltimore now has Davis back in the lineup. Other guys are hitting well. I think Oakland gets a boost offensively when they go on the road. So I'm thinking we see overs in Oakland at Baltimore. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Pete. I think those are great arguments. At first, when I looked at this, it just scared me because I know a week or so ago we thought the Oakland-Toronto series would go over, and they did not. Oakland does have good pitching. We know that. Baltimore has shaky pitching. Sometimes these guys show up, sometimes they don't. But both teams do have fantastic lineups, Pete. I think Oakland's due for a breakout hitting series as well as Baltimore. So I agree. I think we're going to see some overs. I'll go on record by saying I think the overs are a good bet in the series.
Okay. All right, great. And then the second one does involve Seattle, and I know that is a team that you have a very close read on every game, every week. And they're going into Tampa Bay this weekend. And this is more of a fade of Tampa Bay than a pick on Seattle. Tampa Bay is absolutely awful right now. They're minus 26% ROI on the year, and that is the worst ROI in all of baseball at the moment. And Seattle has actually been decent in spots. They've actually been very profitable on the road this year, plus 14% ROI on the road. And in May, they were a plus 25.5% ROI on the road, which led them to be a plus 7.5% ROI overall in May. Tampa Bay, the numbers are just bad all over. Minus 20% at home, minus 20% in May, minus 25% at home in May. You take a shot with Seattle here?
You could, Pete. I think it's a little bit of a series that scares me.
Okay.
Just Seattle on the road. They at this point going into the weekend, they'll be on the road for a little bit longer. They'll be on the road for over 7 days. They did just pick up a big win against the Yankees. They've now swept the Yankees in New York. They'll be in Atlanta and then going into Tampa Bay. When you look at the pitching matchups, Chris Young will go against Bedard earlier in the series. Boy, that's a tough matchup. Elias, we know he pitched the 9-inning shutout against the Detroit Tigers last week. What does he follow up with? Guys that typically throw complete game shutouts don't necessarily follow up with a complete game shutout. He goes against Cobb, who just got rocked by the Marlins. Will Cobb bounce back? So, again, I think that's another stay-away game. And then King Felix versus Chris Archer. King Felix is always a good bet, Pete. 8-1, and his one loss was off of an error in which one of his infielders made. He really could be 9-0. So you got to tell me he's a safe bet. So overall in the series, fade the Rays maybe, but I think I would stay away and maybe just bet King Felix late in that series.
Okay, all right. So maybe we'll pass in terms of an overall general bet on Seattle in that series, right?
Yeah, it's too inconsistent. You really got to pick your spots with them. So to pick them to win an entire series is a little bit tough sometimes.
All right, and then the third series, again, kind of like low-hanging fruit. Instead of fading Tampa Bay, the worst team in terms of ROI, I'm going to think about maybe betting on San Francisco this weekend. The best team, the number 1 team in all baseball in terms of ROI, they are at home against the Mets, and San Francisco just awesome, right? Plus 25% ROI on the year, which again is by far the best in baseball. They've been great on the road and at home, and in May they were even better, plus 34%. The Mets, kind of a mediocre team. They have been actually a great bet on the road this year, plus 25% ROI on the road overall. But that was a little bit fluky due to a hot start on the road in certain series in April. In May, they were minus 10.5% overall, and I'm sorry, minus 10.5% on the road and minus 19.5% ROI overall. So I just see this as the Mets being a mediocre at best team going on the road, playing the most profitable team in baseball. Do we bet on San Francisco?
Yeah, I would agree with you, Pete. I'll go with San Francisco. I love the comfort factor with San Francisco. Every time someone takes the hill, whether it be Vogelsong, Tim Lincecum, Tim Hudson, you just feel good about who's on the bump. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily get an outstanding start, but going into the game, you have a good start. And they tend to never be overvalued. It's a team that's typically in that minus 120, 130 range. So, if they continue that trend, I'd go with the Giants. I think the Giants will take the series.
All right, that's all I got for the weekend series. What do you have for us, Troy?
Yeah, just one weekend series that I circled, Pete. I believe I'd have to go back and look, but I believe I swept it on the videos last week. Was the overs in the Colorado-Cleveland?
No, 2-1, 2-1, yeah.
2-1, 2-1. Okay, fair enough. 2-1 in that. I like Cleveland, Texas over. Neither team's pitching staffs are blowing anybody away. Texas has several pitchers, guys like Colby Lewis, Nick Martinez. None of these guys are consistent. Cleveland's the same way. Two good teams with good bats. We know about the Texas heat and the Texas ballpark. I know some of those lines are going to be high in the 9.5 range. I still like overs. I think it's going to be an over fest.
I'll tell you what, though, Troy, something's up with the totals in Texas home games, and I've kind of been staying off them for about a year and a half now because they've actually been an undertrender for a while now, including this year. And about like 2 years ago, I was pounding overs in Texas home games, and I lost for a couple months, and I was like, something's up here. And then for about a year and a half since then, I've been staying off them. They have been trending under pretty consistently, and this year they've again been an undertrender at home, a pretty solid one too.
No, I agree, and I know we talked about this a little bit last year, Pete, and I'm not one of those guys that's just pounding Texas's overs. I hardly ever go towards totals in general. But in this particular series, I've looked at these pitching matchups and these lineups. I think this may be a series where the games go over at least 2 out of 3. So typically I would stay away, but this is one particular series I'm going to be on.
We'll see how that turns out, and thanks so much, Troy. We'll talk to you again very soon.